Hey team, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to our very first vegan food with Fluff. All right team, a lot of you guys messaged me, DM me and asked me about my nutrition. I am a vegan. I've been a vegan for about 8.5 years now. So I'm excited to take you guys into my kitchen. Today we're gonna be making a mango, ginger, and teriyaki tofu rice bowl. The ingredients for which can be found in the description below. So go ahead and get your groceries, meet me in the kitchen, and let's get cooking together. All right team, so step one is setting your oven. Go ahead and set your oven to 410 degrees because we are gonna start with making some roasted veggies. So I have laid out here zucchini, yellow squash, bell peppers, and a white or yellow onion will be just fine. And we're gonna start with chopping these up as you guys admire my lovely, adorable crooked plants. All right, so let's get started here. Fair warning, I am not a professional chef, so nobody judge my perfectly even cutting skills. Now, I usually make a giant tray of roasted vegetables every single week. So this is a lot more vegetables than what I'm going to be using in this recipe per se, but I just make a big tray, usually on Sundays, and I'll just divvy it up throughout my week so that I'm nice and set up for success. Now, the trick to not just a vegan diet, but really any diet is I always say to eat your rainbow. That's a good way to make sure that you have all of your micronutrients, all of your vitamins and minerals. So you'll notice that I have green zucchini, yellow squash, red bell peppers, white onions. Like, you don't necessarily have to eat every single color in every meal, but you do want to make sure that you get every single color throughout your day. All right team, so now that all our veggies are chopped, this is an awesome problem to have where all your veggies don't fit in your giant bowl for the week, so you need to split some into 2 bowls. That's okay, right? So from here, we're gonna go ahead and add, I have about a 1/4 cup of olive oil. So I'm gonna add a little bit to each bowl here. Again. And then I just like salt and pepper. I like to keep it pretty simple and let the veggies kind of have their own flavor going. So I sprinkle a little bit of salt into each bowl. And then a little bit of pepper, salt and pepper to taste. So I didn't measure those. You can also put more or less olive oil depending on your preference. I don't like to put, you can put so much oil that they end up being like soggy vegetables. I am not into that, so I like a little bit of oil for a whole lot of vegetables. And then stir that together. All right team, now we've got our seasoned vegetables. I put it all back into one bowl. You need a cookie sheet. Go ahead and line it with the sheet of foil like I've done here. And then you're just gonna take your veggies and spread them out in the pan. Nice overflowing pan, literally, of vegetables. 5-second rule. All right team, so evenly spread this out. Good. And then we are just gonna pop this into the oven or into our 410 degree oven. I'm gonna try and make sure that everything's nice and even. And bake this for about 25 to 30 minutes. It really depends on how you like your vegetables. I like mine with a little bit of char on them, a little bit of darkness. So anywhere between 25 and 30 minutes is perfect. All right team, now that our veggies are in the oven, next step while that's cooking is to make the rice because it takes roughly about the same amount of time. So it's kind of like perfect timing. All right, so similar to the vegetables where I just make a big thing of rice for the week. So I've got about 3 cups of rice right here, and you just make your rice according to the directions you have. You might have brown rice or a different one from mine. Mine's just jasmine rice. But one thing I did want to point out, I do like to salt and butter the water when I do this. This is vegan butter, Earth Balance. Kind of like regular butter where it's basically a source of fat, but it has that nice buttery flavor. It's fully vegan. It's awesome. So I do use this in my rice. All right, team, so now that we've got both the veggies and the rice cooking, one thing I did want to talk about with you guys is, of course, the tofu. If you've never gone tofu shopping before, let me inform you. You'll go and you'll find softer tofu and firm tofu and extra firm tofu. So this is super firm, and the firmer it gets, the higher in protein and calories it is. So this one right here, a fifth of this is going to be 130 calories and 14 grams of protein. So it's a lot higher in protein than a regular firm tofu would be. It is a little bit more pricey, but you don't need to eat as much to get the same amount of protein. So this is my usual go-to. All right, so I've drained the tofu. Another thing that I want to point out, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, if you're anything like me when I first switched to being vegan, the issue with tofu for a lot of people is the texture. So the benefit of it being super firm is it's a lot more dense. So I don't really ever see like those how to make crispy tofu videos and they're like, I put books on it and leave it there overnight to get all the water out. This is a lot more dense. It doesn't have nearly as much water content when it is that super firm. So I typically just slice it like a loaf of bread, like so. And then sometimes I'll cut it into squares. And then sometimes I tickle myself and I cut it into triangles. Let's go ahead and make triangles today. So what I've done is just kind of crisscross it into these squares, and then I'm gonna cut that in half and make these nice little triangle pieces. I have a little bit of oil in here. Oil or some nonstick spray will work. You're gonna put the heat over like a medium heat and then just drop your tofu right in there. Good. And you can find this tofu really at your local grocery store. I don't go out of my way to find this. There's a Safeway here. You can find it at, if you're in California, maybe your store is Albertsons or Shaw's. A lot of Whole Foods, if not all of them, have this. Every Whole Foods I've ever been into have blocks of tofu, but tofu's not like you don't have to go to a specialty store to find that. We're just gonna brown this, so we're gonna let it sit here for a few minutes and then we'll stir it and then let it brown some more. So let's go ahead and just give this a little bit of time to brown. All right, now that everything is cooking, last little pieces to cut up. We're gonna cut up one fresh mango. I've got a small size of ginger that I already cut off the edges to there. All right, team, so once it gets to about this level of brown in your tofu, we're gonna go ahead and take these liquid aminos and add about a tablespoon, just kind of sprinkle it on here. You'll feel that nice sizzle come in, and we're just gonna stir that in. And obviously the tofu will take on that color and get even more brown. Continue to stir so that you get the seasoning evenly into all your pieces of tofu. And let that cook for another like 1 to 2 minutes. All right, team, last step, of course, is plating. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my plate, scoop on some lovely rice, followed by as many veggies as we want. My opinion, there's no such thing as too many vegetables. They're awesome for you, and especially during this pandemic. Go ahead, pack yourself full of vitamins. Get all that color in there. And get a bigger spoon for sticking it on here so that you don't have to scoop as many times as me. Oh yeah. Then go ahead and put on your lovely cooked tofu. Yum. There's something beautiful about simple food that's good for you and good for the earth. And delicious. Some of that tofu on there. Go ahead, I usually take about half a mango, but go ahead and sprinkle some mango on here. And I always think the fresh ginger root that's coming next, I'm just gonna sprinkle some ginger on here, is really like the key ingredient to making this recipe really pop. It makes everything else just taste so much more fresh. You guys can't smell this, but it smells amazing. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take about a tablespoon of teriyaki sauce and pour that over the top. Oh yeah, beautiful. I have this Maui Mountain teriyaki that we were just trying for the first time. It's local, but I've never had a teriyaki sauce that I didn't like, so just find at your local supermarket. Now, last piece, optional, sprinkle a little bit of sesame seeds, about half a tablespoon right here of sesame. Last but not least, team, taste test. Give it a little bit of a stir here, so we can get more in each bite. Yay. That's delicious. I love it when I make my vegetables like perfect. They're not real soggy. And they have that nice crunch to them. Let's try some tofu. And I always love, can't go wrong with teriyaki sauce. Can't go wrong, cannot go wrong. All right, I'm gonna finish eating this. Oh, I got some ginger in that one, that was delicious. All right, so now that I'm done chewing, I'm gonna go finish eating this. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below, leaving a thumbs up so that I know you want more recipes from me just like this one. Thank you so much for joining me today on my first episode of Vegan Food with Fluff. Hope you guys enjoyed this recipe, and I'll see you guys next time.